think it's the guns. I think it's the policies that we have in New York City where we're not enforcing keeping criminals in jail. I think we have like a revolving door right now, and that's what's scary. Right now I'm like a prisoner in my own home because I'm too afraid to come outside. I mean, we just had a woman recently thrown on the train in New York City. So I think we have such a big problem. I don't think it's guns. I think it's people, and I think it's the policy that these people are enforcing.
And you hear it right there in that woman's voice. She's afraid to go outside here in New York City. Violent crime extending throughout all neighborhoods here in New York City. And we saw that woman pushed on the subway tracks just a few weeks ago. This is something violent crime folks were hoping would improve with new Mayor Eric Adams, more than a 20-year vet of the NYPD. So far this year, with 6 police officers shot, that has not been the case.
All right, Mike, thank you. Mike Carter.
Joining us now to weigh in is retired NYPD Detective Angel Maysonet. Angel, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to get your take because I think that woman who Mike Carter interviewed said it best. Of course, there is the gun violence. There's no doubt about that. But people are getting mugged. They are getting raped. They are getting attacked. And as a former NYPD officer, you know, I can imagine what you think and others when you arrest these guys. But because of the policies, they're back out on the street committing same crimes or maybe worse.
Well, officers like myself who are retired or who have a lot of time on the job, we spent years and years and years of literal blood, sweat, and tears trying to make New York City the safest big city in America. As soon as de Blasio took office in 2014, everything started going downhill. I'm wearing this T-shirt right now. This is Detective Rafael Ramos Foundation. This violence was brought to our doorstep by a left-wing violent extremist from Baltimore who came up to New York City saying he was going to put wings on pigs with a gun and came and assassinated detectives Rafael Ramos and Wenjin Liu when they were sitting in their patrol car in Brooklyn. The police cannot do this by themselves. Biden can virtue signal and pretend he cares about the NYPD all he wants. If they do not hold these left-wing liberal judges and these rogue DAs accountable for the crime that's going on, it doesn't matter how many times we lock people up if they're back out on the street.
And as far as guns are concerned, it seems like here's what the game is. The game is pick an issue that's going to solve the problem. And the Democrats have said, oh, it's guns. When you've mentioned, and you just mentioned, the cases where it has nothing to do with the guns. Yep. So this will drag it out forever as if they're trying to solve it. It doesn't get solved, and we're in the same place we started. Angel, from your experience, what actually would solve the problem?
Well, New York City has some of the toughest gun laws in the country.
Right.
So do places like Chicago and Philly, right? But the guns are still getting here. The problem is, so if they want these guns to stop, what's going to have to happen is they have to untie the hands of the police. They're going to have to allow police to be proactive and aggressive, okay? Federal gun task forces are not, that's not something new. That's been going on since the police department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have come into existence. They're going to have to be okay with taking the gloves off and putting their money where their mouth is. They're going to have to target the demographic that's committing all these violent crimes. They're going to have to target the demographic that's selling these guns, right, in the states down south, or pretending that they're stolen from their gun shops and making them up to New York City. If they do not allow police to aggressively and proactively target the people who are committing these crimes, because guns do not shoot themselves, then this is not going to stop.
Yeah, you know, Angel, it sounds like what you were doing, what the other officers were doing years ago, which could completely reverse everything that's going on. Earlier during his remarks, Biden went on a tangent about the Second Amendment. Take a listen.
When the amendment was passed, it didn't say anybody can own a gun and any kind of gun and any kind of weapon. You couldn't buy a cannon. And when this amendment was passed.
Your thoughts on that?
Again, right, strictest gun laws in the state, right? These 13 cities that have set records for homicides in 2021 have the strictest gun laws in the country. Okay, Biden didn't talk about the Fast and the Furious gun walking scandal that happened when he was vice president, how they let the cartels get their hands on thousands of guns, right, which led to Border Patrol Officer Terry being killed by one of those guns. These things, listen, they can talk the talk, but they're not going to walk the walk until they show that they're going to walk the walk, have the backs of their police, give the police the proper funding, stop with all the powder puff terms like violence interrupters and all that stuff. Unless they're willing to do that, this is not going to stop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Angel Maysonet, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.